episode of Bridging the Gap, brought to you by Bridge Studios. This is JR alongside Scumbar. That deal with Scum?
There.
Alright, so today we want to talk about Brand Jamaica. And are we benefiting from Brand Jamaica? And if not, how can we align ourselves to benefit more from Brand Jamaica?
Well, go on Jamaica. Well, I think everybody else in terms of the entire world is benefiting from Jamaica, except Jamaicans. So if we're going to go Brand Jamaica, obviously I am also saying that you have 2 billionaires. If I go straight into this thing, Kanye West go Jamaica and less than a week later I have an entire website dedicated to selling. I mean, this is a billionaire already. I mean, it must be something. You have a billionaire saying that, hey, I want to be remembered like Bob Marley. And you're telling me that the leaders of the country don't see the benefit, the value.
I don't think it's a situation that where they don't see the value of it. It's just that it's probably a lack of foresight and lack of proper planning. The planning there has never been a move or a plan in place to target and benefit from Brand Jamaica other than the tourism industry.
So
and I think that is where our problem is. Our leaders have been limited in seeking out how well we can benefit from Jamaica other than the tourism market.
I think you're being very nice. If you have somebody as intelligent to establish a business in St. Lucia while on a visit as a minister of government, you can establish a business while on visit to Jamaica as a Jamaican. I mean, you must have some brains. There must be a reason behind the things you do. Now, listen, I don't want to be too kind to anyone because I think that everything in life you have to work for it. So I don't have a problem with hard work. But there comes a point when we need leaders who are not in love with power and money, but are in love with the people to whom they serve and who have elected them. No, I don't think this is a hard thing. I mean, if you, as a businessman, ensure that those around you are also into business, I'm not going to stop come and beg you every minute. You know, if me go and say, oh, Bridge, why not now go and beg some feet now, and every day me I come, it would have much more suitable you teach me how to have a business and establish so I can say, all right, I no need to come to you, brother.
Alright, because we know so we're not benefiting there aren't programs, plans in place to benefit from Brand Jamaica. And this is in terms of Jamaicans benefiting from Brand Jamaica. So how can we, what are some suggestions that you have to put forward that you think can help, to help us benefit from Brand Jamaica?
Straight away, we have assess, or should I not call it assess, but we have a tax. I mean, every time you travel to Jamaica, you pay a particular money now that goes into the tourism fund in terms of that money that you pay for the ticket.
Right.
I think it's like $20.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that good, right? But not only should we be seeking to use monies to, like, for example, acquire more vehicles for the force, but we have obviously one of the biggest tourism, if not the #1 tourist. And I don't think it's really the hotels. I really think it's more about Jamaica's culture that is attracting a lot of these tourists to be in such love with Jamaica that 5, 6, 10 times they think about vacation is just Jamaica. So what I'm saying is that the government can own a hotel. The government can utilize persons.
I think the government have shares in the former Holiday Inn that was.
Alright, so what I'm saying now is I don't want to hear about shares. I want to hear about owning. I want to stop hearing about selling and divesting. And I'm thinking that just off the bat, the government have relations with persons in business. And I'm saying that they must be able to gather expertise, well thinking, and they must have resources to own some of these entities. I mean, we're having an issue, persons from the craft market, persons that are building items that are in so much need, and yet still they are saying that the traffic of the tourists are being directed away from them. Why is that?
Well, that's...
So first and foremost, we need to get these persons involved. If we need to train them so that they can be having a location and a hotel, or if not, we have something that, a place for them that is closer, because I understand that, you know, based on the new road networking, some of them are being left out because it's no longer.
I don't know if it's a situation where they're being left out on purpose, or it is that the development that is taking place, the road network is moving a certain direction where, you know, eventually it will get back to a situation where, just like a Fate Spend, for instance, you know, the new road was built, Fate Spend was moved, you know, to the new location. So I don't know if that is something that is in the works. But when I'm saying I mean, I look at, for example, the other day, Ajax, I think it was, the football club, who did their jerseys with influenced by Bob Marley or the Rastafarian colors. And I'm saying, my whole thing with that is, yes, it's good, but Bob Marley is already well known, you know. I would have wanted the government or the Minister of Sports or somebody who is involved in football in Jamaica to reach out to Ajax and say, hey, you know, I don't know if this can work. Maybe it can work, maybe it can't work. Or maybe it's foolish, but take 2 high school youth now and put them in a academy and see what can come off of it. You know, I want to see something where reggae music, which is, I mean, Jamaica is known for a few things. Jerk chicken, jerk panawol, right? The music, the people, and the dialect. The way we talk. Nobody not talk like how Jamaicans talk. There is no other culture in the world like Jamaican culture. There's nothing like reggae music. And there's nothing like jerk. But yet still we're not capitalizing on those things. And those things come naturally. So I don't understand why the government is, why there isn't a concert hall in Jamaica per se. Why the government don't own a record studio. Or...
You want to answer that? Coming off our discussion from last week. No, listen, I mean, it's clear, it's obvious. One of the biggest things, obviously, is reggae music. Reggae music. Not just dancehall, but reggae music.
That's what
and
I
it's
mean,
invited.
you know, the music.
And you mentioned a while ago also, you know, our athleticism in terms of like football. But when you look at it, I'm going to come back to the reggae music. But when you look at it, you have Clarks. No, Clarks really don't need nobody, you know. But Clarks can reach out to a Raheem Sterling, Jamaican parentage, and say, listen, we want to do something. Now, if we now have to go to these people are seeking us out, what is really the difficulty? This is what we call brand Jamaica. You see the new line of products?
Is it a lack of foresight? Is it a situation where politicians, because they can't benefit from it personally, they're not seeking it out?
I think that is a big issue. I mean, just in a recent article I'm seeing where, you know, some well-thinking Jamaicans in the diaspora are now saying that not 1 red cent. You laugh. I know you see the article as well. The fact of the matter is, I mean, people are becoming of the impression that these persons at the top are not interested in the country. And that is what we need. We need leaders who are because listen, this pandemic should tell us, if nothing else, we can't constantly rely on only tourism and only remittances. Yes, we're glad that, you know, people at the bridge can double and triple the remittances that they have been sending because they see the need in this pandemic. But how is it possible that we can continue to rely on something that we have no control over? We have to improve our productivity. We have to improve our agriculture. We have to improve all these areas in which we have been non-existent as it relates to productivity. The world has gone far and beyond us in marijuana. How comes? How comes? I mean, there's so much. We're just talking, but there are so many things that comes out immediately.
I mean, there are some things that a lot of politics is involved in that is going to take a little bit more, finessing to get to the forefront. But I think we're not capitalizing on our music and our food and our people. That is something that we don't even have to invest in. These are things that come naturally.
So,
just
you
being
did
a
ask
Jamaican.
about, or you made reference to music, and I wanted to make the point. It was some time ago. I don't want to really put up time into it. I would want to think it's last year, but Spice went to a concert, and the name of the concert was Bumbleclad, a festival.
Yeah. In Holland, I think.
No, mind you said this in Jamaica, problem. But within the context, this was now a festival, celebrated, and based on what Spice said, it was well received, meaning that a lot of persons turned out. I mean, not all people look necessarily like me either.
Right.
A good friend of ours went to a club recently. Mm-hmm. Big blood clot club. I'm afraid to even put up the thing from the status because I say, but if I'm my mother-in-law might say, I have an issue with that, But what I'm saying is that there are so many other persons celebrating Jamaica.
All right.
Benefiting from Jamaica.
All right. So, I mean, things you have everything have perspective and things have context. Now, Jamaica is naturally a conservative society. Yes? So, some things are going to take a little while for the wider public to warm up to. Now, if you're going to the music, one of the things that come out of Jamaica that is still not accepted into Jamaica is Rastaman, Rastafarian, a religion that originates, that was started in Jamaica, right? Where right now you have Rastaman in Italy, a born the Pope, born Italian, a born the Pope, but Rastafarians still aren't really accepted in Jamaica, in mainstream, So part of what I think is our problem is our conservative nature. Jamaicans are naturally
we adopt so many other culture and practice.
Well, that might be so, and that is...
We run away from our very own.
Well, so you see, because I believe we have been taught over time that, what we have is not of value. And everybody else has seen it and is like, what?
And everybody else wants it.
And everybody else wants it.
Willing to pay to get it.
Willing to pay to get it, yeah.
But we don't see the light.
Because Jamaica is not just an experience. It's a lifestyle. It's a whole being unto itself. But for whatever reason, I don't know if the current crop of politicians, both from the opposition and the government side, understand or appreciate the value of brand Jamaica outside of just the tourism market.
That's concerning. Because as you rightly say, why is it that no recording studio is owned? One of the biggest things is our music.
Even if they don't own it, I think that the government need to have a program in place where they're encouraging upcoming musicians. I think that there's a market out there for reggae festivals. So even to be a part of the production team.
More than a market.
There's also a situation where artists in Jamaica come and travel overseas, tour. And there isn't a tax in place to say, hey, give back. You have earned XYZ, so we want to reap some of that. We want you live in Jamaica.
Before we even go to actually reaping or the taxation, as you rightly said, I don't want to go too far from it. I think it is quite within their reach to own a recording studio, and quite within their reach to influence. In that you don't want certain type of music, but influence from even the school level, a particular level of content, a particular level of input. You get the teachers involved, and you show the different levels of creativity. Look at Coffee. I mean, this artist burst on the scene. Grammy.
I don't know
why we don't gravitate to our very own.
I don't know how many people watching Bridging the Gap and went to school in Jamaica actually had a music program while they were in school, because that is something that was abolished when I was in primary school. You know, I went to primary school in the 80s, and I remember I had music class at least once a week. You know, there was a music teacher there.
It's difficult. It's
so
difficult.
You know, I don't know if it also have to do with budgetary constraints, but we all know that in order to make money, you have to spend money, and the arts is something that will eventually pay for itself.
The entertainment industry.
There's no reason why our Edna Manley School for the Performing and Visual Arts can be, you know, our answer to Juilliard.
The entertainment industry is by far right now making a lot, if not the most money. And you have to look at it. Right now we're doing a podcast, but there are some persons that this is their bread and butter.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in the pandemic, people are watching, people are in tune. Everything is going digital now. Everybody now has to be on the internet. What are our leaders doing as it relates to infrastructure? And if the question is about money, this is an era in which they can make money. We're talking about the Jamaican culture. We're talking about brand Jamaica. We're not just talking about an advertisement to invite persons to come.
I think it's something that I don't know who's going to take it up, but this is something that needs to have focus. And I think more young people need to get involved in the politics, because I see where the opposition has announced a junior cabinet, a cabinet specifically filled with, I guess, university students or people of university age, whatever that means. And I would want to see these ideas coming from our leaders. You know, how can we use Ryan Sterling, for instance, you know, to get a couple youths. Leon Bailey, you know. Yeah. Or we can use a Usain Bolt, even though he's not running anymore.
But he's still a massive figure.
Massive pull, you know.
And he's also in the entertainment industry, music.
We have so much resources available that we don't have to pay for. And I think this focus wholly on tourism is what is actually
in the abundance of water. A fool is thirsty, sad to say. When you have a president, the president of the free world at the time, visit Jamaica, and the man come out and say, "Wow, go on Jamaica." You don't have to ask which part you're there. You're there. You're in the room when you have a vice president
who is of Jamaican parentage
in the White House. Yeah. And you can't see the value in what you are selling, in your product, in what you have. I can't really say selling, because that's what we're complaining about. We're not making anything. But yeah, you know, it's disturbing.
Well, I mean, this has been another episode of Bridging the Gap podcast. We're talking about brand Jamaica and how we can benefit from it. Why we're not benefiting from it. We want to hear what you have to say. So please like, subscribe, and in the comment, tell us how we can benefit from brand Jamaica. You know, put out some ideas. Maybe the government will see it, or somebody from inside the government will see it, and, you know, will take your suggestions a little serious. So Scum, once again, big up yourself. This has been Bridging the Gap, brought to you by Bridge Studios. Until next week, see you.